Yeah, the interesting thing about location of bass and vegetation, oftentimes, you know, weeds are weeds to a lot of folks, but to a bass angler, getting the right kind of vegetation is critical. And when you're jig fishing, it's just like cranking. Sometimes you're cranking to catch fish, and sometimes you're cranking just to find vegetation in the area capable of holding fish. So you're always in play, always in motion, putting pieces of the puzzle together. And that vegetation I was just holding just really isn't something that the fish really gather and hold to. So as you're fishing and you start to identify the different types of weeds, for us it's coontail, it's cabbage, it's Eurasian milfoil, it's American milfoil. Those types of things are really critical to be the correct habitat for these fish to gravitate to. And when you find lush weed beds like that, it is a massive magnet, and it will hold numbers of fish, certainly as our season gets closer to the end, where we're shutting the door and the snowflakes start flying.
Mark was talking about different types of weed composition, and that is so critical. The interesting thing is right now I'm using a Terminator grass jig with a Trigger-X Goobug on the back. And it's a real heavy jig. This is a ½ ouncer, and we're fishing it probably in about 10-12 foot of water. But the thing is I can tell, actually you get used to fishing through different types of weeds with this braided line. I can actually tell you what type of weed composition I'm fishing through. And a lot of times what he was looking at, we want specifically coontail. It looks like a raccoon's tail, this really deep green.
Good one.
Means Mark's got a big boy on there. There you go.
Oh, I bet he's making it around.
Taking around? Ooh, he's got a real whippersnapper on there.
We got a little buddy, James. Ooh, look what's wrapped around his snoot.
I bet he's got some weeds around it.
You know, it was so funny that I popped it off the weed, let it sit to the bottom, James, and just kind of must have been just dragging it. Just what James was talking about. Different variety of vegetation is where these fish hold. Just a beautiful little chunk.
Huh.
But it is so critical. You just keep fishing and you just keep fishing, and sometimes you pop aggressively, and just like jerk baiting, when you develop cadences to try to figure out ways to trigger fish to bite, James, I think a lot of times in jig fishing you're doing the same thing. Aggressive hops, subtle hops, pulls, anything you can to try to figure a way to trigger those fish and vegetation to bite. Good to have a good skipper in the boat.
Yeah, yeah.
There's another one.
Oh, Mr. Fisher.
Here we go.
You don't even let your buddy get in there. Oh, he's got another whopper stopper on there. Oh, there you go. There you go, Mr. Fisher.
You don't have a buoy?
No, I don't. I got a GPS.
Well, he's a long, thin one, buddy. There you go.
Oh, there's another one. Oh, see, and that's what you're talking about. Oh, whoa. I like that. They're leaping Lenas in the background here.